Hello, all my dear Capricorn friends. This is Maxine Taylor, America's first licensed astrologer, and I have a fabulous forecast for you, which I'll get to in 1 second, but I have an announcement first. Many of you have been asking me for a long time now, when are you going to write another book? It's been a while. Well, here it is. It's called Hidden Messages in Your Birth Chart. This book is written for astrology students and astrologers. Many of you know how passionate I am about looking at your programming, seeing it clearly, releasing it, and replacing it with what you would like it to be. What I discovered many years ago is that programming shows up in your birth chart. And you don't have to be an advanced astrologer to be able to read it because I've simplified it for you. The one thing I do is simplify everything in astrology so that I simplify it to the point where I can understand it. I figure if I can understand it, you can, because I have made it very easy. Many years ago, I wrote a book called Hidden Messages, and it was published by the American Federation of Astrologers. Since then, I've learned a lot more about programming. And this book contains all the newest material. I've updated the verbiage too. So I hope that you find it helpful and enjoyable, because I've designed this book so that those of you who are astrologers can bring new depth and insight to your clients when you read their charts. And those of you who are students of astrology will have your eyes wide open when you see how easily it is to understand why you are the way you are based on your messages. Now, many of you have written books that are not necessarily astrology books. They can be tarot books. They can be gardening books. It doesn't matter. You have written a book, or you're thinking about writing a book, and you don't know what to do. You don't know the first step. And you've turned to me and you've asked me what I do and who I use. I have a friend, because everybody who works with her sees her as a friend, who is remarkable. Her name is Denise Casino, Cassino. And you can get in touch with her at bestsellerservices.com. And that title tells it. She can take you by the hand, work with you from square one. That means even if you haven't put anything down on paper yet, to finding an editor, of a formatter, and getting your book placed on Amazon and getting it to bestseller status in record time. I highly recommend her. She not only delivers, but she over delivers. Everyone who works with her loves her, hates to end the relationship because she makes it so easy. There are many people out there who claim to be able to do what she does. They claim it, but the stories I'm hearing from people tell me that they're not delivering on it. Ugh. And it costs money. So I highly recommend Denise Casino. Okay, now, Capricorn, we got to talk about this forecast for May. Woohoo! Love it. Look at here. 5th house of fun and games, 6th house of work, health, and service, 7th house of relationships. Yes. All right. The yellow planet is the sun, the center of our life, the giver of life. It has been in your 5th house of children and fun and games for about a month. And wherever the sun is, it brings life with it. So you're having fun. I think that's marvelous. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and money and all things artistic, has been in your fifth house. So you're loving having fun. You're loving your kids. They're adorable. It is time to party. And then Mercury, the blue planet, which is what you think about and talk about. Well, you're thinking about your kids. You're thinking about partying. And within the COVID limits, you can still party. It can be virtual. Um, and it is time for fun. Now, watch this. Mercury, Venus, and the sun travel together. Wherever Mercury is, that's what you think about and talk about. Okay, it's in your fifth house of fun and games. And you're talking about it and thinking about it. On the third, it moves into your sixth house of work, health, and service. And you are able to bring new ideas to your job, to your health regimen, maybe add some exercising, who knows what, to the work that you're doing. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde. And we know that when Mercury goes retrograde, we do not start new projects. Instead, we tie up the loose ends of unfinished projects. We enter the shadow of the retrograde on the 15th. That's when we start feeling like Mercury's retrograde. It's not, but it feels that way. And that means everything is confused. You're not going to start a new job unless you want it to be temporary, or unless it is a project that you began in the past and you're now tying up the loose ends and finishing up the project. Mercury will go officially retrograde on the 29th. And when that happens, everything is confused. We know that. Mercury goes direct in June, but immediately moves into the shadow of the retrograde, where it stays until July 7th. So you're going to keep playing, you're going to have fun, because Mercury's going back up. You know, when it goes retrograde, it backs up. It doesn't literally, but it feels like it. After the 29th of May, it's retrograde. After July 7th, it is not only direct, but it is out of the shadow of the retrograde. Now, Venus moves into that sixth house on the 8th. And this helps you enjoy your job. There's improvement in your health, yes. And you want to be of service to people. And the sun moves into your sixth house on the 20th. So we've got Mercury leading the pack and going moving into the shadow on the 15th. Venus moving into the sixth house on the 8th, and the sun on the 20th. And you'll find that the whole area of work, health, and service is activated for a good, several weeks. Next month, we'll pick up here in the sixth house and everything will move into the seventh. Now, in the meantime, you got Mars in the seventh house, the red planet. Wherever Mars is what comes first to you. It's what you throw yourself into, what you fight with and fight for. These are all of your relationships, personal and business. You will attract people to you who put themselves first. Okay? And that's good because you're putting them first too. So you're both on the same team, or you're all on the same team. So partnership and getting out there and being with people, that's important to you. You have to do it. You have to. We have a new moon on May 11th. It's in your fifth house of fun and games and children and enjoyment. On the new moon, things start growing. This new moon is in 21 degrees of Taurus. Find 21 Taurus in your birth chart. Combine it with what I've just said, and you've got the whole picture. And so things are moving forward. 2 days before the new moon, nothing's moving. On the new moon, time to socialize. 2 weeks later, we have a full moon. And it's not just any full moon, it's a total lunar eclipse. That's when things come to a head on the full moon. We feel the effects of an eclipse, a good week to 2 weeks before it occurs. And until the next pair of eclipses come along, which are usually about 5 or 6 months later. So we're going to have another eclipse in June. So be sure and check back with me. This full moon is a total eclipse, as I said. Feel the effects a good week to 2 before it begins. And on May 26th, everything comes to a head. This eclipse is in 5 degrees of Sagittarius. Look for 5 Sag in your birth chart and combine it with what I'm getting ready to tell you now. This eclipse is in your 12th house of behind the scenes activities. You want your solitude and privacy. And I understand that because with Mars in your 7th house, you're going out there to be with people. With the Sun and Venus and Mercury in your 5th house, you're partying. And then you're working. And you need time alone, for goodness sake. And that's this eclipse, the full moon on May 26th. So there you have it. It looks like a fabulous month. I hope it is. And I hope you'll join me next month when, once again, we go over your forecast. Till then, my blessing is, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.